The Deep Six. 6 stories from your world in 30 minutes or less. Hosted by Patty Steele and Steve Cochran. The Deep Six is on.
Well, here we are once again. It's the Deep Six with me, Patty Steele. And who are you again?
My name is Steve Cochran. I'm in Chicago. Lovely to see you as always.
It's a pleasure to see you from here in sunny New York. Well, hopefully sunny for the rest of the week, rest of the month. I don't know.
Whenever you're hearing this, we hope there's sun where you are.
Yes, exactly. Here's the deal. What we do is we tell you 6 stories every week, and we hope you enjoy them and want to stick with us because, man, they get more and more interesting. I'm really looking forward to the one you're going to tell me about some songs out of North Korea that were they banned or what was the deal?
Well, it's kind of a music playlist of acceptable music in North Korea. And since dictators, a heavy emphasis on the first syllable, are the news, I think you'll enjoy the top of the charts, North Korea style. We'll get to that coming up.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good to me. And we're also going to talk a little bit about reincarnation. We have Elon Musk back in because he's kind of a favorite of ours. But as usual, we love to start out with a little entertainment news. Why don't you begin?
The Deep Six. Story number 1.
Colin Jost is a guy I'm often confused with, except for the fact that I'm bald. He's not. He looks great. And he's younger than I am. But other than that, we're basically twins.
Right.
So, as you know, Colin Jost married Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, go figure that. Staten Island kid. And there he goes, huh?
Yeah, now he is but I'm not wrong about that, right? He is a pretty boy. He's a good looking dude, isn't he?
He's adorable. And he went to Harvard, so He's got the creds. But, there's a lot of pretty boys that go to Harvard and, and he's just doing Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live. And all of a sudden along comes this incredible woman and they sweep each other off their feet.
Yeah, and they've got a little baby now. Well, there's multiple stories out that say Colin Jost. It's funny when I see this word because I don't know who uses this word because it's an old word. Henpecked. Colin Jost is henpecked.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Who says henpecked?
You do.
Not really the point of the story, but it made me laugh. But the story goes on to say that Scarlett Johansson makes him use the eye cream from her new company that she just rolled out, her cosmetics company called The Outset, and that he's the only partner she's ever had who uses eye cream, male partner. And also that he's bullied by her. And that she even picked the name of the baby. They have a little boy they named Cosmo, and he didn't get a vote. Now,
Cosmo didn't get a vote, or
well, yeah, Cosmo's a dude too, so he didn't get a vote either.
Right.
So obviously, we don't know if any of this is true. This could be tabloid fodder, if you will.
Maybe he's just really happy to do what she needs him to do. That's the other
maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I've met her a few times. She was delightful, but I'm not married to her. I mean, who knows behind closed doors? But if Colin Jost starts blinking out, I'm a hostage on Weekend Update, I guess we'll now know why.
I got to tell you, I love the commercials they did together. Did you see those for Alexa? Yeah. Very funny.
They're very cute. So speaking of rumors that are out there and maybe unfair rumors, what have we heard about Friends since the reunion? We heard that, that Matthew Perry.
Everybody was talking about Matthew Perry, how he was off kilter. Was that the word we want to use?
Not quite right. Remember they blamed it on like a dental issue,
right?
Which never really added up and made sense.
Right.
But the delightfully funny and charming Chandler, who had a well-documented drug problem and claims he didn't remember 3 or 4 seasons of Friends.
Yes.
He is coming out with a book, which we've talked about previously on the Deep Six.
Right.
Well, today there's tabloid stories out that, you may have seen in the past few days. Maybe you'll see them going forward. That Matt LeBlanc, the other Matt, Joey is Fat Joey.
What?
Now, Joey had a big old belly when he was doing the reunion, and he made fun of it. He's 54 years old now.
Yeah.
Age appropriate
take care
belly.
of yourself. You don't have to be, Yeah.
So, but Joey now supposedly, after breaking up from his latest relationship, is over 300 pounds.
300 pounds.
That's a lot of Joey.
That's a whole lot of Joey. I don't know if he could handle that because he's not that tall of a guy.
Yeah, and maybe they get that poking stick they had in the first few seasons where they poke naked fat guy across the alley. Remember that deal?
Yes. Oh, my God. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So again, we don't know that it's true. We're not trying to pass on, rumors that aren't true, but we don't have the time to go look these up. And these stories are out there. And we want you to know that Colin Jost may be, quote, henpecked, and Joey from Friends might be a fat guy now.
And I got to tell you, because I just Googled this story while you were speaking, and the first thing that popped up was the story that says, did Matthew Perry and Matt LeBlanc secretly hate each other during their time on Friends?
Well, we got even more trouble then, don't we?
You know what? There's no value in being a celebrity out in Hollywood.
No.
That's the kind of stuff that gets, you're fat, you hate each other, you're drugged out. Like,
your wife is ruling you.
You're only good while you're good, and then you're really bad.
Well, you think about it. Why do we need that as a society, right? Because Friends was a delightful show, huge hit, certainly some great writing, some of the best writing in sitcom history. As the show went on, it got better, which is the way it should be.
Right.
But we can't leave it alone. We can't remember it that way. We've got to pick it apart now.
Yeah. Speaking of picking somebody apart, Mike Tyson, not too ashamed of his past. It's been 25 years since he bit off a chunk of Evander Holyfield's ear. And now he's
what a sweet anniversary.
He is happy to use that, right? He's launching a brand of ear-shaped weed edibles called Mike Bites that have a little tiny bite mark at the top of the gummy. These
are like CBD gummies?
No, these are like weed. These are THC.
This is actual weed.
You get high from these.
Yeah, and with a little bite out of them.
Right. A little tiny bite out of them. No word on the cost or the taste, because clearly there is no taste here. But they are going to be available, they say, at dispensaries in California, Massachusetts, and Nevada very soon. And that will spread to all the other areas that sell us edibles. So
I'm curious, I don't dabble in this area, but I do know that people talk about, well, you don't do an entire edible, you do half an edible or a quarter of an edible. But
this one already has a bite out of it.
Yeah. So how do you measure, right? If the ear has already been nibbled on, how much are you supposed to take?
Oh, I like the idea of an ear being nibbled on.
Read and follow all label weed directions, and good luck to you.
Exactly.
The Deep Six, number 2.
The United States Senate has passed a bill that probably won't get through the House.
You don't think?
I don't think it will, because there's 435 knuckleheads there, and you can always find somebody to argue.
Right.
But the bill is making daylight savings time permanent.
Right. As of 2023. So we get one more fall back and spring ahead.
So you wouldn't have the clock change. And I got to be honest with you, I don't like the clock change. I don't like it being dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the wintertime. Do you?
See, I like the clock change. I think it's fun. It's something interesting. It changes the way you approach life in the wintertime when that happens. It's just around, you're getting ready for the holidays, and there's this cozy thing. You're sitting by the fire at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There is that. But I don't know. There's something. And then it's so refreshing when in the spring, suddenly you spring forward and you get this extra daylight just as it's beginning to warm up. I don't know. I think it's fun. It adds a little spice to life, but
Well, but what you just said is true, because the spring feels like a win. It feels like I survived. I got through another Chicago winter, and now my reward is it's going to be daylight for an extra hour at night, and all the world is right again. But each year it's this bump in the road that goes in the wrong direction for me. It shouldn't be dark at 4 o'clock. That's all. It just shouldn't.
Yeah, no, it's 4:30. It's like I remember vividly last fall that the thing that bothered me is I like to cook outside. I like to milk every little bit of even the tiniest bit of warm weather out of right on through November if I can. And I can remember going out there and turning on the grill and then throwing some burgers on and then going back out and going, oh my God, I can't tell if they're cooked or not because there's not enough light out here.
Right.
So you turn your phone on and it's like, okay, it's only 5 o'clock. Why is it, this crazy?
There goes the charm of daylight savings time and in the other half of the year.
Exactly.
But you told me before we started recording this version of the Deep Six, you told me that maybe I don't need so much sleep at all, and I'm a big baby. I think that's the way you put it.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, you are a big baby. That's for sure. But there's this thing that they've done this study, and they found that in San Francisco, UC, they found that people have certain genes that can pack the benefits of a full night's sleep in only 4 to 6 hours. They say it's called elite sleep, and it can be a shield against neurodegenerative disease. They've identified these genes that play a role in what they call super efficient sleep. And they say it is hereditary. So it's not something you can, obviously, it's genetic. You're not going to be able to make it work. And so it got me to thinking about all the people that claim that they don't sleep much. We know it was Donald Trump always said he slept 3 to 4 hours. He probably should have slept more.
Yeah, no kidding.
The former Yahoo CEO, Marissa Mayer, 4 or 5 hours. She works 130 hours a week. That's a little insane. The Twitter founder said, that early on, he worked 8 to 10 hours a day at Twitter and then left and went to Square, his other company, and worked 8 to 10 hours. Which would
Jack Dorsey. So that explains why he couldn't shave.
That's right. Which would leave him with as little as 4 hours to do everything else. Other people that sleep between 4 and 5 hours, Kelly Ripa, Jay Leno, the former Pepsi CEO, Willie Guest, says he sleeps 4 hours, but he tells his body it's a full night, and it believes him.
So this is Willie Geist from Today and Early Today who's saying this?
Yeah. The CEO of Fiat says he sleeps 4 hours a day, and his workday is fueled by coffee and cigarettes. There's a guy with a long life ahead of him.
Wow. Okay.
Martha Stewart, going to be 81 this year, sleeps less than 4 hours. General Stanley McChrystal, 1 meal a day, sleeps less than 3 hours. And then we've talked about this before, these historic types. Thomas Edison, 3 hours. Ben Franklin, less than 5. And that was segmented sleep. And he'd get up and take what he called an air bath in front of the window. He'd stand there naked and let the cold air bathe him. And Nikola Tesla, who was really famous for his back and forth kind of battle with Thomas Edison to claim, electricity and light and all. And
his battle with sanity as well.
Yeah. He slept less than 2 hours a night. And that's probably why Edison beat him to the punch when it came to marketing himself.
Now, did you mention Elon Musk?
I didn't mention Elon Musk in there, but yes, he's another one that sleeps very, very little, says he just doesn't need it. And he feels really good when he, gets just a few hours. And
when are you good? Do you know what the optimum amount of sleep for you is? Or optimal, if you prefer?
I have spent so much of my life, my adult life, not getting enough sleep because of my work hours.
Yeah.
I work,
morning radio and WCBS FM in New York.
Yep. I get up at 3 a.m. to go to work. And, for most of my career, I have been raising children. And so, yeah, you go to get up at 3, but you really can't go to bed. If I was going to get 8 hours, I can't go to bed at 7 when I'm not even putting my kids to bed until 8 or whatever. Sure. And then you got to wind down and all that kind of stuff. So the only time I ever know that I'm really missing sleep is when I get sleep and I go, "Ooh, golly, this is what it feels like," It
is weird when you don't sleep a lot and then you sleep a certain amount and you go, "Oh my God, I feel great. What happened?"
Yeah.
So for me, it's like 6 hours, somewhere in there between 5 and 6 hours. But the measurement could be off a little bit. As you know, I'm a Marvel superhero. I'm Nap Man. I can fight any crime and go out and chase any bad guy as long as I get a decent nap at some point during the day. Nap man.
I like naps, by the way. Not everybody does, but I do. I'll run in and drop down for 20 minutes or half an hour and I feel pretty good. But
that's a different definition of drop and give me 20. Drop and give me 20.
I drop down and take 20.
Yeah, take 20 minutes. So, and look for Nap Man. We're working on the script for that now.
Okay.
Now, the reason I brought up Elon Musk is because item number 3, and I know you saw this, we've all talked about it to some degree. Mm-hmm. He's got a new baby with another ridiculous name, right?
Yeah. Well, the weird part of it is he and Grimes, his long time, several years girlfriend, had a baby, but then they broke up. And it turns out they had one more baby right before they broke up. And her name is Exa Dark Sidereal. I got to say it right. Exodark sidereal.
Exodark sidereal. So in other words, when she's on the playground, the other kids would have to go, hey, do you want to play with us? Exodark sidereal. I got a feeling she's going to be alone a lot.
Yeah, I think they're talking about calling her, weirdly, Y for short. Not X, not dark, not Psi,
It's
but
just
Y.
bizarre.
That's what they're going to call it. They say this name was inspired by supercomputing, dark matter, Lord of the Rings, and deep space time. This kid has a lot to live up to.
Well, and also this kid has a therapy down the road to work out her anger for not being named Beth.
Right.
I mean, come on, you got to think about what your kid's life before you name them some egocentric, asinine name like that.
It's funny. Her first name, Exa, is actually short for the term exaflops. And that's the capability of performing 1 quintillion floating point operations per second. Exa denotes the number 1 quintillion, which is basically 1 followed by 18 zeros.
I really
needed to know that.
I really like Elon Musk. I think he's amazing. And
yeah,
I think the technology he's brought forward and the things he continues to invent and do are really life-changing for the rest of us. But I wouldn't let him babysit. I wouldn't let him, make any decisions related to the youth, as in young children in this country.
Or name your kid.
Yeah, if you're naming your own kid Exodark sidereal, that child has to be taken away. I'm sorry. You're not up for this.
Funny enough, Grimes said she spoke.
By the way, her name is Grimes?
Grimes, yes. That's it. It's just Grimes. She's a character. She said she was actually fighting to name the kid Odysseus Musk. She said, a girl named Odysseus is my dream.
Oh,
but she didn't have it with Musk.
Well, one of the reasons Colin Jost didn't get a vote is he wanted to name their son Exodark sidereal. He wanted to get a jump on him. Yeah, wanted to get a jump on him.
And speaking of Elon Musk, I got to tell you, did you see the story recently? He was ranting on social media about Vladimir Putin, said he'd like to fight him.
Yeah.
Well, of course, a Putin pal responded saying Vladimir would hammer the hell out of Elon if they fought. He said, Elon Musk, a word of advice. Don't measure your strength against that of Putin's. You are two completely different leagues. You'd need to pump those muscles up in order to change them from Ilona, that's the effeminate name of Elon, to the brutal Elon you need to be.
So is this Kevin Nealon doing Pump You Up?
You're going to pump you up. Elon opened a new Twitter account under the name Elona Musk.
That's funny.
And responded, thank you for the offer, but such excellent training would give me too much of an advantage. If he's afraid to fight, I will agree to only use my left hand, and I'm not even left-handed. Sincerely, Ilona. I don't think I'd be.
Elon Musk was very for, and I respect this. He was very forward and out there about being on the spectrum, the autistic spectrum.
Right.
This seems to be my daughter works with kids with autism, and she said all of us have a touch of the tism, as it's put in the industry. I think that event may have been Elon Musk was having that type of day.
Oh, apparently.
I don't see the advantage. By the way, I think he could beat up Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin's 74 years old or whatever.
Yeah, but he's also a black belt in judo.
Yeah, I'd probably pay to watch it, but it's 74. I don't know what Elon Musk gets out of this.
I know. I'm hearing you.
The Deep Six, number 4.
I have a feeling you're going to teach me.
I'm going to try to teach you and maybe convert you into believing in this, or maybe not. Do you believe in reincarnation?
I'm open to it, but I can't say I'm all in.
Yeah. Have you had any kind of experiences or dreams, or been around anybody who kind of made you think, wow, where'd that come from? How did this person at that age or in this place and time get that knowledge? Any of that?
I mean, I've interviewed people through the years on the radio like you have, who, live in that world.
Right.
And I, anything's possible, obviously. Once you buy into it. So I guess I'm open to it, but I don't think about it much.
Well, this happened to a mom in Australia. Her 2-year-old son suddenly started talking to her about how he used to be a grown-up in another life. He said, when I used to be a grown-up, I had a map and I was traveling through the sand because I needed to find water. I finally found water, but later I sunk and then I became a kid again. The mom said she liked the hair on the back of her neck stood up.
See, that's the thing. When little kids say stuff like that, because of the purity of little kids, like, you know, I know of a couple instances where little kids were talking to the dead grandparents they never met.
Yeah, that's
that type of thing.
Exactly.
So that's got it. I mean, that does stop me. That stops me and makes me think. Now, if they stop and they're talking to Bruce Willis, who's been dead for the entire movie, that's a whole different thing.
Now, the mom says that, like, of course, she shared this on social media because she thought it was pretty fascinating. And she had 8 million views, 10,000 comments, tons of people with similar experiences, including one who said that he talked all the time about how when he used to be a grown-up, he worked on cars. And she said her kid, the first woman said, he's been talking about all kinds of life experiences that she said he's never had and never heard of. So she's kind of freaked out by it. And there's just a lot of people who are weighing in. It's interesting.
Well, where are you on it? Do you believe in reincarnation?
It's so funny because when I asked you, I was waiting for you to say yes or no. And I thought, oh, he's not going to say yes or no. Now you ask me and I can't really say yes or no. Yeah. There is a part of me that thinks, you know, where does this little seed that we become, where does all of this stuff that's in us that makes us so completely different from one another, even people living in the same household that are so different. And it's very hard for me to believe it's just a biological fluke.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But if there is reincarnation, I would want to have been somebody cool, somebody famous, somebody cool, somebody that did good things. It would be very depressing if I found out I was like Jack the Ripper's driver,
or just some jerk.
Yeah, or just a bad guy, just a drunk. You know, just somebody that just couldn't get one foot in front of the other. I'd want it to be good. I
would want to be Lincoln, even knowing how that ended. I'd still want to be him because I love everything he represents.
Yeah, so. I totally agree. I'd want to be Lincoln's hat because that's where he kept all the good stuff.
That's right. His filing cabinet.
The Deep Six, number 5.
All right. Now, item number 5, let's continue on the kid thing for a second, because this is an important story and this affects everybody listening every single day now.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. As we emerge from the pandemic, hopefully, cops across the country say there's been a big increase in drivers, believe it or not, just deciding they're not going to stop for school buses anymore. I mean, I have a friend here in town where I live, Brian Fazio. He's a police officer here. And he was actually reached out to me because he said it is across the country. They're trying to raise awareness about this problem. He said that since they started their campaign just here in this little town of Montclair, they've handed out 350 tickets to people not stopping for school buses. Like, what are you thinking that you would go racing past a school bus with its lights on and the stop sign out? I mean, can you imagine one little tiny kid or big kid or whoever walks out in front?
Well, we hear about it every year. I mean, somewhere in the country every year. Yeah, you hear stories about kids being hit by cars. And of course, our fascination with phones and the texting that just can't wait, that always concerns me. Like somebody blows through, a line of traffic because they're texting. They're looking at their phone. Right. And the next thing you know, a little kid gets hit by a car. So it's a very simple thing. This is not gray. This is black and white. And
stop your friggin' car. Jeez.
And the farther back, the better.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, yeah, it's scary stuff. So, it should be one of those things you don't have to bring up to people, but it's a good reminder.
The Deep Six, number 6.
So much of the focus of the world is not just Elon Musk and Putin, but on Vladimir Putin. And as I like to say, has he left the beet farm? Is he crazy? There's a lot of evidence that he is. Precursor to crazy, of course, was the entire Un family, the Kim family of North Korea. Yep. And I don't know, I thought I'd leave us on this note today to maybe have an appreciation for the musical freedoms that we have, not just the freedoms we have in America, but the freedoms we have to listen to whatever we want. Right. We disagree sometimes on what's good and what isn't good. In North Korea, the playlist is quite a bit tighter.
Yeah, you're not you can't just play anything on the radio or in your car even.
It's a lot smaller. So the propaganda part of it is obviously huge, but in many parts of the country, including the bigger cities, the citizens are woken up to loudspeakers around whatever town they might be in to the hot song, "Where Are You, Dear General?" And I think we can all sing along with that.
Oh, that's I can dance to that one.
Now, access to food is always an issue there. And when access to food is difficult, there's a couple of songs that have been put out to make people feel better. One is "Pyongyang Cold Noodles Are Best." Yeah. Can't you hear how that would be a bouncy little number?
That's a great.
There's also one called "Potato Pride." Take pride in the fact that you can only eat potatoes. Here's a few more. There's songs called "Let's Defend Socialism." There's a song called "Labor is a Song." And then it just gets better and better. This is apparently a love song in North Korea. The translated title is "They Say My Criteria for a Mate is Too High."
Oh, my God.
Didn't Celine Dion do that originally many years ago? And "My Country, Nice Place to Live In" is another one. Based on what I've already told you, I'm going to have to argue and say I'm not so sure. But if you're having potatoes in Pyongyang, listening to the Deep Six, we're pulling for you, and we're singing "Potato Pride" as well. So.
Oh my God, it's amazing. I have a potato story real quick for you.
Oh yeah, tell me your potato story.
There's this couple in New Zealand who applied to have a massive potato, they thought, named Doug, recognized as the world's heaviest potato at 17.5 pounds by the Guinness Book of World Records.
That's a big ass potato.
But their hearts are broken. It turns out Doug the Spud had a DNA test done with a shocking result. Doug isn't really a potato.
What?
This bulbous object is actually a tuber or a type of gourd mixed in. So Colin Craig Brown, who grew Doug, says that, of course, he said, I wasn't trying to trick anybody. He thinks that he bought a potato seedling that was kind of crossbred with a gourd and a cucumber. And he said, I'm trying to rationalize how this could have happened. But he said, I am really going to give it my all and have a go at growing the biggest potato in the world. And he said, by the way, Doug is being made into vodka. But it's a gourd. It's not a potato.
No, I feel bad for Doug the tuber. But, let me just add one more since you brought up, the food piece of this.
Okay.
I don't even know if you know about this. I did not.
What's that?
But in Wyoming, the state of Wyoming, in cooperation with their wildlife and gaming officials, have come up with a new app. And the app is based on one simple premise. It's how to safely collect and cook roadkill. The claim is that, roadkill happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And how do you get it from the road to the table and make it safer to eat? The state wildlife and highway officials rolled out the app. And they say, by the way, possibly the first of its kind at the Associated Press. I'm pretty sure it's the first of its kind. I don't know that you need two sources on that. There are 30 states. I didn't know this either. There are 30 states that allow people to collect roadkill for food.
Yeah, I actually have seen that happen years ago in Pennsylvania. If a deer was hit and you called it in and it was, fresh, they would come and pick it up and they would use it. Back in the day, I'm saying, for people that lived in state homes or were in prison, that kind of thing.
So when you, let's say you hit a deer.
Yeah.
The idea is you would then tell the app, you would register with the app, and you would use the app to claim you hit the deer to verify that it wasn't killed illegally.
You didn't shoot it, right, off season.
Yeah, and then it would directly link you with ways to safely keep and prepare the deer so you'll be able to, have it for dinner tonight. And by the way, what wine goes with venison? I don't know.
It would be a sort of nice, thick red wine.
Hold on a second. I'm better now.
You had to swallow that a little bit.
Yeah. Deer, elk, moose, bison, wild turkey, all among those wild roadkill that have been picked up and are cooked regularly in Wyoming. And by the way, I'm not judging it.
No.
Wyoming's a beautiful
place. Sounds like you are.
No, listen, it's a beautiful place. It's just, I'm going to keep driving and looking for a Chili's or an Applebee's.
Hell, you'd even go to McDonald's rather than eat roadkill.
Yeah, I really would. Listen, the Deep Six, as Patty stated, at the top of our good time is to bring you 6 stories that you're not hearing everywhere and to give you our take on them. And hopefully you'll talk about them. We hope you'll talk about us behind our backs.
Yeah, as much as you like. It better be good, at least the part that goes about me.
And just know that whatever you do today, we hope it goes great for you and you have a delightful day. Patty and I are going to sit back now with a nice glass of a thick red wine.
Wine and some roadkill.
Yeah, maybe some roadkill. And we're going to listen to Pyongyang, Cold Noodles Are Best.
And maybe we'll have Doug the Spud for side dish.
That's right. We need a little more sleep here at the Deep Six.
Thanks for listening. The Deep Six. Subscribe, rate, follow, or review at pattysteele.com or cochranshow.com.
If you're purchasing a new home, refinancing your existing home, securing a VA loan or a reverse mortgage, or do you get questions? You've got questions you need answers to regarding the biggest investment you'll ever make, your home, the money tied up in it, and how to get the most out of it. Team Hochberg is your trusted local lender. Jamie is 70, a limo driver. His business got crushed by the pandemic, and he's been living off credit cards. The stress of not working and credit card debt deteriorated Jamie's health. He called Team Hochberg. They talked about a reverse mortgage consolidation. Team Hochberg reverse mortgage expert Jose Rodriguez helped Jamie secure a reverse mortgage, paid off that mortgage, and eliminated his credit card debt and reduced his payments $2,500 a month. That's a big deal. Before calling Team Hochberg, stress was literally hurting, if not killing, Jamie. He was living off his credit cards. And after calling Team Hochberg, Jamie secured that reverse mortgage, eliminated his debt, and saved $30,000 a year. Team Hochberg has helped me before, my family as well. Radio listeners of mine, podcast listeners now. And like Jamie, if you need to pay off debt, reduce your monthly payments with a reverse mortgage, but don't know what's right for you, well, call the people that do. They'll talk you through it. 855-56-DAVID or 56david.com. No obligation. Call them. Tune in to Home Sweet Home Chicago, hosted by David Hochberg, Saturday mornings on WGN at 10 o'clock after House Smarts. And remember, Homeside Financial, as always, is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 1124061. All right, I want to welcome billionaire and, I don't need to tell you, an eclectic, I'm a slightly strange guy, but an incredible story. Elon Musk, live to my office. Good morning, Mr. Musk.
Good morning, Steve Cochran. Good morning. I take that as high praise. High praise coming from you. I listen to your podcast quite a bit. That's when Joe Rogan's podcast isn't on, which is never.
That's
never happened. You see, it's always on. I thought I'd start off with a little humor.
That you are a funny guy. Now,
I don't listen. I'm explaining the joke. I don't listen to your show.
I understand, yes. Well, first things first, Elon. Congratulations on the birth of the new baby. The baby's name is a little confusing to me. Let me see if I have it. Exodark Sidereal? Is that close?
That is affirmative, yes. But I think you could use a phonetics lesson. I think so. Yeah.
I don't want to use a lot of technical terms here, but
you just go with Baby Y. Baby Y is the nickname.
And the brother, X12, but 5 older half-siblings from your previous marriage, Griffin, Xavier, Kai, Saxon, and Damien. You seem like you had relatively normal names. Why these last two are so unique?
Absolutely right.
Yeah,
Quite a brood, quite a brood, wouldn't you agree? Everyone wonders why I smoke the sticky icky.
Yes.
If you had that many kids, it would drive you insane. But if Rogan gives you ganja, you'd be rude to turn it down. You can't turn it down. So rude.
I never knew you to be concerned about rude. But anyway, all right. So Baby Y is her nickname, but can you help me with the actual pronunciation of the full name, Elon? And can I call you Elon?
Yes, of course. Yes. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
You start with Exa. Dark.
Exodark.
Like dark skies.
Exodark.
Exodark. Those are both phonetically pronounced as expected. Exodark. And then I'm told that sidereal is pronounced sidereal.
Exodark.
Like
Exodark sidereal.
Dear. E-L. Sidereal.
Exodarch Sidereal. You said
You have it. You have it.
You're told. Didn't you come up with the name?
Well, no, Grimes. Grimes, my baby mama. She came up with the name. Grimes is the baby mama and the ruler of my life.
Yeah.
Ruler of my life. She's my tractor beam. Tractor beam. What she says goes. Really goes. Yeah. All the time.
So you're not unlike any other man. And that is,
no, not at all.
Your wife is someone who controls the home. Your life.
My ex rules my life.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. But I thought you and Grimes broke up last year, and now you're dating a new girl, an Australian actress named Natasha Bassett. Beautiful, by the way. Is that true?
Yes, that is true. But Grimes is still the Alpha X. The Alpha X. She approved of that. She approved of that.
So getting a headache here. What is an Alpha X?
Alpha X. Of all my former loves, and that includes the one I married twice. Grimes has to greenlight who I date next. She greenlights it.
Okay.
Greenlights it. Yep.
All right. Okay. I have nothing I could add to that.
It all works well. It all works well together.
Okay, sure. So anyway, you did this big Vanity Fair interview. You, or at least I read the preview of the Vanity Fair interview that Grimes did, and she referred to you as the boyfriend, although she called the relationship fluid. But then the cover story gets released. Grimes tweeted that you and she had split up again. It's a little hard to follow, don't you think? Well,
Steve, maybe you should live your own life, and stop being so concerned with mine. Trust me. Once you stop caring about others, it frees you up immensely. Stop being the caring. Really does.
Okay.
Really does.
All right. So let's move on. Tell me about picking a fight with Vladimir Putin.
Yes, I'm going to fight him. Going to fight him and hurt him. Going to fight him very well. Very well. Yes.
You can't be serious. It's a publicity stunt, right?
No, it's not. Not a stunt. Not at all. I have his number. He's mine. Okay. We're going to have a steel cage match. Steel cage. Joe Rogan will referee. 2 lunatics enter the cage. Only one leaves. Only one.
Well, it seems there might be 3 in there.
I planned it all.
Is it going to be mano a mano? He's a judo champ. I mean, first off, what compelled you to issue the challenge?
Okay, I did challenge Putin to a fight. That is true. And many of you are asking, why would I think I could challenge and win a fight with a KGB-trained killer? Right?
Yes.
Is that what everybody's wondering?
That's what people are wondering.
Well, it's very simple. Very simple. I found out I could defeat him by creating a basic algorithm.
Oh.
My foolproof fight algorithm. It's brilliant, by the way. Brilliant. Utilizes the base number of years Putin has shown off his saggy man boobs while riding a horse. Shirtless horse rider, combined with the multiplier, which is the number of his political opponents who've accidentally fallen out of windows. It's quite a lot. When you subtract that number by the metaversal outlier, which is the number of millimeters in the length of his wiener, not a lot, by the way, not a lot. Then you divide by the deflationary ratio, which is the circumference of his perfectly round Charlie Brown-looking cranium.
Yes.
Got a Charlie Brown look to it.
Yes.
But following that, you then take the whole number, add the cumulative number of staged training sessions with Steven Seagal, and there's your answer. Mathematical proof showing that I can beat that douche to a pulp in 60 seconds. 60 seconds. It's only one round.
Why would
brilliant algorithm.
Why would anyone question your algorithm? Now, not sure if it'll work me on the chalkboard, but I like the work you've done there. You've shown your work.
Yes, I always show my work. I always show proof. And I figured you were one of the doubters, Steve, who, by the way, will never be a billionaire. But that's fine. I can assure you my brilliant algorithm is foolproof. Isn't that right, Baby Y? Baby Y? I must have misplaced my baby human. Baby Y? Steve, I have to go.
Yeah, I think you should. Thanks for calling, Elon.
Baby Y, please say something if you can hear me. Baby Y? I think I need to come up with a new algorithm. Maybe a self-sitting babies algorithm. Self-sitting. Baby Y, Daddy is here. Hello.
Maybe don't do the math right now. Find the baby. Go ahead. Bye-bye.
Brilliant. It's going to be brilliant, Steve. Baby Y.
30 years plus on the airwaves. You have turned your dial to me. Now you're tuned into my podcast. It's live from my office, Steve. From Ithaca, New York, to Carolina South, W. Cochran Steve. From Minneapolis and then Chicago twice, top-rated shows achieved. Sit back, relax, and now listen to my show. When or wherever you are, 'cause you're on the go. A-list celebs with some laughs and great info. Live from my office, the Steve Cochran Podcast Show. Yeah. No better place to be. Yeah. Subscribe and like for free. Yeah. Live from my office, Steve. So glad you're with me. It's live from my office, Steve.
Thank you for listening to Live from My Office, a service of Monkey Run Productions. All rights reserved. The podcast is hosted by Steve Cochran, and it's mixed, edited, and produced by me, Ross Cochran. Steve is available for corporate speaking gigs. He would love to MC your event, and occasionally, he's funny. Thank you for listening. Head to cochranshow.com for more.